Hi everyone and welcome back to the Chasing Pars Golf Podcast. Where in this episode I'm joined by LET member Sara Byrne. I don't know how I nearly got that mixed up there, Sarah, but first of all, how are you? I believe you're back home, is that right?
Yeah, back home in Cork, all good. But getting ready to for the next stretch of events.
So how's life back in Cork? Obviously, to be honest, I've never been to Ireland, so how would you kind of describe Cork as a place?
Honestly, I think it's one of the best places in the world. If it just had better weather, I'd be sorted and never want to leave, really. But it's definitely it's home for me. It's where all my family is, where all my friends are, and it's always a really great place to come back to when after all the traveling.
I mean, Ireland and Scotland, both with the weather, pretty much equal, you know what I mean? Half the time it's horrendous. So I can only feel your pain at that part, but like obviously it looks like a beautiful place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's in summer, it's honestly one of the best places in the world. I think it's the views are in here, just the vibe around the place. It's definitely a special place, that's for sure.
And so you've so obviously it's been a kind of roller coaster of emotions for yourself. Obviously, at Final Q School, you managed to gain full LET status for 2025, and you started at the Lala Merriam Cup in Morocco. We're going about that in a couple of minutes' time, the event in Morocco. But for the time being, like obviously, we all know, everyone knows about how grueling LETQ school is and Final Q school is. What was that experience like? Obviously, playing 5 rounds, it must have took its toll eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's kind of like you don't think about it, but it's like it's the last kind of nearly the last week in December, really, like just before Christmas. Like the last round was on the 20th of December, and I think after such a long, grueling year anyway, to have a kind of the thought of having 5 rounds in a row basically at Christmas time. It was a hard thing to mentally overcome. But honestly, it was funny. Like that fifth round, I woke up that morning and I was like, just get me through these 18 holes and get me out of here. Like I was absolutely exhausted. I just played LPGA final stage of Q school like the week before and had come from Alabama, and now I'm in Morocco, and it was just a whole thing. But I was definitely ready to go home before LETQ school final stage even started. Don't mind by the time the fifth round came, that's for sure. But again, you just had to mentally get through it, and that's exactly what I did, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can only imagine as a golfer just how grueling all the traveling, and then obviously when you're on the course, like mentally just has to go, you know. I mean, I can only imagine how much, well, maybe coffee or whatever that gets you through the day, specifically at a busy time of year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like honestly, I think more it's adrenaline more than anything else, and like the sheer determination to achieve what you need. But definitely like a bit of coffee and really good food and to keep you energized, keep for it all.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. So you managed to finish 15th at the LET Final Q school. Um, Overall for that week, did that surpass your expectations at all? Was that obviously the aim to finish in the top 20? Did you perhaps maybe want to get a little bit higher, I suppose?
I suppose yeah. Like I was obviously going into the week hoping to try and win it. Of course, but like kind of went into it with just the like I just had the mentality like all I wanted to do was gain Ladies European Tour membership. Like that was like what my main goal was, because I have the full Epson Tour status as well. So like all I like to be like after such a great year, it was kind of going to be like, okay, like I know I can get in the top 20. It'd definitely be a cherry on top of a great year. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But obviously I kind of just had it in my head that that's what I wanted to do. 15th is pretty good. I honestly, like I played really good golf that week, but it definitely wasn't my A game. So to kind of come out of there with 15th place, I was quite happy, obviously. And in the end, top 20 is top 20. You get the full status. So I was happy with 20th and better, that's for sure.
Yes, so you mentioned briefly there about how you managed to get Epson Tour status as well. So how is your schedule kind of going to look like for 2025? Are you going to play half of the first half of the Epson Tour, then onto the European swing of the LET, or how's that going to work?
I suppose like my goal for the year is to try and end up with a full LPGA Tour card, because obviously that's where the dream is, to go play on LPGA. So, and to do that, you kind of have to play Epson. So I'm definitely kind of prioritizing the schedule toward more Epson and American based, just because that's the easiest way to achieve my main goal and achieve my childhood dreams of getting on the LPGA. So it's definitely a lot Epson based. And hopefully if I can just get like a really good first half of the season on Epson and kind of shift back to the European side, because I do love playing the LET. It's a great tour. And I will kind of miss out on a lot of it, especially my first year getting my card. So I definitely do want to kind of get back on the LET. So kind of just depends a little bit on how well Epson is going. But again, I'm definitely going to come back and play the Irish Open, and hopefully kind of stay back a little bit in summer and play European Tour events then, just to kind of come back home a little bit as well.
And so obviously the Epson Tour starts next week in Florida for the first couple of events. I take it that's something you're looking forward to getting back to, obviously going back to Florida, familiar ground for yourself. I take it you're excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love Florida. It's honestly like it's a home from home for me. It's definitely a second home after spending so much time there for college in Miami. So going back to Orlando, it's going to be nice to be back on Florida golf courses again. And I'm just really excited to kind of get going on Epson. Like I haven't played an American tour before. Like obviously I played a couple of European tour events, so I kind of know the gist of that. But I'm excited to kind of get back over stateside and kind of get that experience again.
And so obviously growing up in Cork. Well, I've read here. I think you corrected me beforehand, but like I read here that you played out of Dromelon Castle, which I believe isn't really true anymore, is it?
Well, in my amateur days, I was playing for my home club in Douglas. But since turning pro, I am a touring professional out of Dromelin Castle, which is a really nice golf course and hotel, whole estate and resort, and it's a really good place. It's actually have great memories and connections to the place as well. I played my first ever ladies European Tour event in the Irish Open there in 2023, and I made the cut and I got the low amateur. So I definitely have a lot of great memories out of the place and good connections out of the place. So it's definitely nice to still be affiliated with the club and kind of bring that forward a little bit into the coming years.
Yeah, that was the one the year before last, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
Carton House last year, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
Dromelon the year before that.
Yeah, they were a big part of bringing back the Irish Open. It had like a 10-year gap, and they were a massive part in bringing it back. So it's I definitely have a lot of good connections and great memories with the place.
So you end up getting a scholarship at the University of Miami. How did that kind of come about at first?
I suppose it's kind of funny, like when I played around Europe as like a teenager, and like you obviously have college coaches and scouts kind of coming over to all the big European events, like European teams and the German girls and boys. And I remember just one year I played in the German girls, and the coach at Miami just watched me for a few holes and said he really liked my game, and kind of then I kind of kept in contact when I could, just when I was old enough to kind of contact them. And yeah, that's kind of how it came about, really. Kind of, it was nice, not too hard, and it was kind of a simple journey, really, because we used to travel and holiday in Florida a lot. So, and obviously I honestly think South Florida is just like paradise for any sort of golfer. So kind of having and it's a really good college. It's a private university, so it's kind of high standard for academic as well. So it was kind of just an all around suited me quite well. So I visited there and I just absolutely loved it. And thankfully I was offered a place in the golf team there, and took it up.
Like you just alluded to there, obviously Miami is like it's like a wonder of a place, like in Florida. Like I take it the Miami life, that was of the appeal as well to obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, I have to have a really good kind of, I would say, like work-life balance of it, really. And Miami definitely provided something where when I wanted to switch off from golf, I could. Like there was a really good social aspect to it. There was really nice beaches. The weather was really nice. There was loads of other things to do other than play golf, and I think that was a major part of what helped me to kind of succeed there.
So at your time at the University of Miami, it's fair to say you've had a pretty successful amateur career in your time at the University of Miami. So In the World Amateur Golf Rankings, you reach 44th in the world, which is pretty respectable, but very well done on that. I can only imagine how tough it is to, finish inside the top 50 in this day and age in the game with so many good players.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I think that was a big like a kind of a big goal for me, was trying to get my WAGR up as high as I possibly could. And kind of my last year and a half, I really kind of jumped up massively. I was starting to really finish high up in tournaments, and I kind of really got it up there. And kind of to finish inside the top 50, I was kind of always on the first page, is always where I wanted to be. And then obviously to turn pro kind of from there was it was a really nice feeling to see kind of achieving kind of my goals a little bit and see the hard work pay off a little bit.
And also, you got plenty of accolades from your time in Miami as well. So, two-time Irish National Championship winner, two-time NCAA Division I tournament winner, the University of Miami Female Athlete of the Year, All-American second team 2024 Palmer Cup participant, which is one of the most prestigious. And then obviously the obvious one being the 2024 Curtis Cup, which we'll go into very shortly. Four-time, I believe it's four-time, I could be wrong, but four-time European Ladies Amateur Team Championship with Ireland, is that right? Or is it three-time?
Probably four, yeah. I don't even know. I felt like I've been playing golf on Irish teams for my whole life. So honestly, it could be four. I think it's probably four, yeah.
Could be more, you never know.
Who knows? Who knows?
You played the 2023 Espirito Santo Trophy as well for Ireland, which is the World Amateur Team Championships for the ladies' side, and a multiple-time collegiate and amateur winner. So obviously you got plenty of successes, achievements, and wins, but is there any title really that stands out from the ones that you won in college?
I suppose the second event I won in college, like that was pretty cool because I shot -19 for 3 rounds, and it was like a school record. It was up there, like I think it was like third at the time in NCAA low scoring record. So that was pretty cool to kind of get. I got a lot of recognition out of that, and it was just pretty cool to shoot that low. It was kind of nice to have the ball go exactly where I wanted to for 3 rounds basically. And it was kind of a cool story behind it as well. It was a Monday and a Tuesday, 36 holes on the Monday and 18 holes on the Tuesday. And I had just flown back from Dubai to Miami, and I got into Miami on the Sunday night from the World Amateur Team Championships. And then it was our home event, so it was on in Miami, and I got up on the Monday morning after just a couple hours sleep and shot a 66, 63, and it was the most bizarre experience. And then woke up the next day and shot a 68. So it was kind of a bizarre experience, but it was really cool, and it was a cool individual win, that's for sure.
And also I'd like to believe as well that you achieved the lowest scoring average in the history of the University of Miami as well, with 70.34. Take it when you look back at that, obviously, when you think about University of Miami, your name's probably going to be etched in most people at the state universities like minds for the foreseeable future because of the success that you had there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like that kind of year that I had was kind of massive, just not only for me, but I think it kind of helped put the program kind of back on the map as well. Obviously, with getting Palmer Cup and playing Curtis Cup and having all these accolades, it was kind of cool. And it's honestly it's kind of surreal, like, to think that I hold that, like out of all the players that went through that and they've been winning national championships and stuff, that like I kind of hold that record. So that's pretty cool to be able to say. But I worked really hard for it. My coach kind of said, if you want to do something, like, you got to earn it. And that's kind of exactly what I did, which was like quite nice.
So the 2024 Palmer Cup, so to be selected, to be in the selection process for that, what was the reaction like when obviously that you knew that you were going to be playing the Palmer Cup? I take it it was an amazing opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think that was something that kind of was a massive goal for me to try and achieve, and it's so hard to get picked on that team and like get enough points to try and get on it. And it's just, you have to kind of play well in every event you play in college, to do it for a year, because there's so many good players. It's kind of I think, the peak of amateur women's golf. So kind of to get on that team was massive. And then to have it at home in Ireland in the Hinch in County Clare was kind of just a dream kind of ending to, like, that's how I felt like how all my college career kind of just ended, because like that was the last thing associated with Miami before kind of finishing off the amateur career and turning pro. So it was a really cool way to kind of end such a great year and such a good career in La Hinch for Miami, which when my college coach was over, and it was a really cool experience. And it's something that you rarely get to experience, of being on a team of 24 of some of like the best players in the world, and to be surrounded with that much talent, and 48 players of 24 Americans as well, and 24 of the world team. It was just the most bizarre experiences. Everywhere you looked, there was just an unbelievable player, and we were all playing against each other, and it was a pretty cool experience now, to be fair.
How far roughly is Lahinch from like Cork? I think it's ages away. Is it?
About 2 hours, I say, maybe. Yeah, around the 2 hour mark, really. It's not too bad. It's both down south, so just on the east coast and west coast.
And is that one of your favourite courses, would you say?
Yeah, it's funny. It is on a sunny day. I think that's my favorite course in Ireland to play. One of my favorite courses, definitely up there in the top 5 anyway. It's a links course right on the beach, and then a nice sunny day. Like, it's a great quirky little course, and I really enjoy playing it.
And so, in terms of like these big team tournaments, like even though it's all serious, like when it comes to shove, I take it there's a lot of different characters and stuff. What's the sense of vibe like at like a Palmer Cup, say?
A Palmer Cup, there's just so many different personalities and vibes, and like you're obviously playing with the guys and the girl. Like, it's honestly probably one of the only times you're kind of mixed in with the male and the female together, and I think that was kind of cool to all experience. Like, obviously there's so many different personalities, so many different types of vibes, and honestly we just had the best fun ever. It was a great crack. We all just had the biggest laugh, because it's like one of those events where it's like, yeah, you're all there to play well, but they make the week so fun as well. And honestly, team golf is it's kind of like such a nice reward, because we play individual against each other all the time, that it's nice to have a nice big team kind of rooting you on, and you're not just playing for yourself anymore, you're playing for something even bigger. And it's honestly one of the best feelings in the world, because it's so rare, you don't get to do it too often, so it is quite nice to just have that team aspect.
So who would you say is the biggest jokester on that Palmer Cup team, like if you had to name one? Like,
probably Santiago. He was probably the funniest golfer I've probably ever met, to be honest. He kind of kept the whole team room in a great vibe. He always had the jokes. He always kind of was keeping everyone uplifted, and he was a pretty cool guy to be around.
And like, is there anybody that you would class as the DJ in that dressing room, like, or do you all get turns each of, like, like trying each other's?
I think it was a bit of everything, to be honest, all thrown in there. I don't think it was just one when there's that many people, but no, it was kind of I think from that aspect, it was kind of just a mix of everything, to be honest.
And say that it was your turn to be the DJ. What kind of stuff would you be throwing out to try and get people pumped up?
I suppose it's kind of funny, kind of coming out of Miami, but I do like Pitbull, Mr. 305, kind of Miami local things that he's good at getting the vibes pumped up. That's for sure.
Wow, that is someone that I've not heard from in a long time. Pitbull, wow, crazy.
Yeah, Miami local.
Yeah, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that's quite funny that you said that, to be fair. So obviously the whole experience of that Palmer Cup was obviously great for you, being home, etc. But I take it nothing will probably ever be going undefeated at the 2024 Curtis Cup at Sunningdale. So obviously yourself and it was you and Lottie Woad, wasn't it?
Yeah. We play both the Foursomes and the Fourball every day, on the Friday and the Saturday, all four matches with each other, and then obviously the Sunday singles then.
Yeah. So how did your game and Lottie's game like kind of match up and gel together? Like what does she perhaps do like differently or better that kind of, complements each other?
Well, I definitely think in the four ball, I was like hitting basically 18 fairways and 18 greens, and I was kind of giving par. And if I wasn't maybe rolling in too many birdie putts those days, and that's where she came in clutch. I kind of gave her the kind of free run out of all of her birdie putts because we knew that kind of I was in for par 100% of the time. So that definitely was a big help because Lottie's a really good putter. So it was really nice to have her just kind of freed up and able to give everything a free run. So that was really good. And honestly, in foursomes, it's not even more the games matching, it's the people. And I think me and Lottie got on really, really well. We vibed really well, and we just had a really good kind of just the whole good vibe kind of going on in the foursome. So I think that's why we honestly matched really well. We had a great fun out there, and yeah, I think that was kind of why it worked so well.
I mean, if you hit 18 fairways, 18 greens, I think majority of the time you're going to do pretty well. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think we both kind of played well that week, and as you said, just nothing ever will ever touch that week. I think it was such a monumental week, just not only just for Curtis Cup and for the team GB&I, but just in my career as well. It kind of gave me a massive confidence boost, kind of turning pro then, and it's definitely a week that none of us are going to be forgetting anytime soon. That's for sure.
yeah. So obviously, with the Sunday singles as well, you ended up beating Catherine part 3 and 2. But before the singles, so the day before that, like obviously you're all preparing and gearing up. But what's the kind of atmosphere like, on what is going to be one of the biggest days of your career as such?
Well, obviously having Katrina Matthew as a captain was obviously a massive help. It's like one of the massive goats of women's golf, and especially team golf after being captain of two Solheims as well. And we were always just kind of primed for that week to win, in the sense that we were given so much kind of belief into ourselves, like from them. But after putting ourselves in such a great position after the Friday and Saturday to be kind of going into the singles with a lead, and we kind of knew we needed a lead because of how well Americans usually play in the Sunday singles and anything, Solheim Cup, Ryder Cup, Curtis Cup, Walker Cup, it always seemed to be the same. So kind of going into that Sunday, I think every single player on that GBI team, we kind of had our head down and we knew what we had to do, and kind of we were told that doesn't matter what other people are doing, is win our match and just don't let up on anything, like try and get as many points on that board for the blue team as possible.
And when it comes to like the big moments, like when it comes to like the team talk and stuff, what kind of things like get said in that kind of situation? When you know that you've got a job to do, you got to get to work, but like, what's the kind of team talk like to hype yourself up as such?
I suppose again, it's kind of just giving us so much belief that we could do it and that we had put ourselves in this position to just keep it going. And I think we all knew we really had a job to do. I think we all didn't just want to win for ourselves. We wanted to keep Katrina Matthew's winning record kind of going as well. And I think that was a massive part of it as well. But like, we just had it in our minds that we were winning and there was just nothing else to it. It was just like, if we are up, stay up, and if you're down, like really just do anything possible to turn that around and get the crowds going, take anything from any little bit of momentum. If you hold a 3-foot par putt, or if you hold a 3-foot bogey putt, just take that momentum and just kind of bring it forward. And that's kind of how it was all kind of ingrained in us, really.
And like during your time there at Sunningdale as well, I believe there was a whole host of players, etc., that ended up coming into like the team room, giving some advice. None more so than obviously Justin Rose, who I believe you said that he stayed for breakfast as well. Is that right?
Yeah, like it's funny. Like we actually had been to Sunningdale 2 weeks before that, kind of on a team bonding thing, and we had Sam Torrance come in and have breakfast with us, and we played 18 holes at Sunningdale, and he walked with us, and kind of because obviously he's a member there for so long, and we had that happen. And then when the week of Curtis Cup came around, we had Justin Rose join us for breakfast on the Thursday morning for our last practice round before teeing it up on the Friday. He had breakfast and chatted away with us, came down to the range and warmed up with us. And we had Colin Montgomery come in and chat to us after the opening ceremony on the Thursday as well. And then on the Saturday afternoon, in between the foursomes and the four ball, we had Charlie Hull come in and have lunch with us. Like, it was honestly the most bizarre experience. And they were all coming out watching us play, and like they had Paul McGinley out watching us and stuff like that, where it was kind of bizarre that they were out watching us, not the other way around how I was growing up doing it. So it was really cool to just hear their experiences and what they had to say, and just honestly be in the presence of such kind of golfing greats.
Is there anybody out of that four when like the when they were going over their stories and experiences, etc.? Is there anybody that kind of stuck out the most? Like maybe Justin with his, Ryder Cup experience and his prowess and stuff.
Yeah, I suppose definitely Justin Rose, because obviously, like, I remember his prime. It's just like he's kind of still in it, kind of in that point. And like I grew up watching him. I was kind of a little bit young to see the Sam Torrance and even the Colin Montgomery kind of era a little bit. So definitely it was really cool to hear from Justin, him talking through the biggest moments that I remember in Ryder Cup, and kind of hearing his side of it and how to deal with it and how to deal with the cameras around you, the crowds. Because honestly, it was the first time I kind of played on TV, and it was the first time I was playing in such big crowds. So kind of to hear their kind of experience with that as well, it was cool to hear, and it was honestly vital kind of for the whole week.
So it's well documented that Justin Rose and Kate Rose with the Rose Ladies series do a lot for the game of golf on the women's side. Um, how grateful are you for some of the opportunities that Justin and Kate have put on for all these talented ladies to come through?
Yeah, absolutely. Like they've been doing it for a very long time now, for the last couple of years. And it's honestly, it kind of gave me, when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, kind of seeing the platform that they were giving women's golf and kind of giving us the opportunities that I always knew that when I turned pro, like there was definitely going to be something to play in. And for me, and honestly, shout out to Justin Rose, he got me into his Rose Ladies event the week after the Curtis Cup, that I could make that my pro debut. I was trying to get in and I couldn't get the invite. So, and shout out to Justin for getting me that. So that was pretty cool to get off the back of Justin Rose, to get into his event and have that as my first ever pro event as a professional golfer. So honestly, just to kind of even that sort of exposure straight after the Curtis Cup, like that's massive for my career just in general. And they had the biggest purse on the LET Access ever, so it kind of just shows how much work and how much willing they're determined to kind of help women's golf. And it's really cool to see a guy like Justin kind of want to do that as well, with all his success, and that he cares about the women's game as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like in terms of like the opportunities, the prize money, the amount of upcoming talent as well, it seems to be benefiting from like the likes of the Rose Ladies series, and all the other events that get put on. Like, and then on the, I think I was saying to you before, I think it was when I was speaking to Kaiser Arwithfield, we was saying about how on the late in the American side of things as well, the Annika Sorenstam and her Annika Foundation have been doing wonders for like young college players, amateur young girls stateside as well. So seems like the perfect balance, having Justin Rose's experience and then obviously having the greatest of all time on the ladies' side, given multiple opportunities.
Like they're doing so much, like the women's game is growing exponentially anyway, and to kind of have those kind of such great influences and great golfing minds, and that they've been through it all as well, to kind of help the next kind of generation kind of through. It's definitely massive in helping kind of develop players and kind of grow the game as a whole.
Yeah, and like in terms of yourself, have you ever had the chance to speak with Annika, or get any advice? Like, have you been in the present?
I actually met her a couple of times. It's funny, like just that, like I met her first when I was about 7 in a shopping mall in Florida, which is really weird.
Okay,
and that was my first interaction with her, which is the most bizarre thing ever. And then I went to one of her events. Now I wasn't playing. I went because I knew she'd be there, and I met her there. And she actually texted me or tweeted at me when I turned pro to say kind of good luck after Curtis Cup. So yeah, like she's always. I know that she's always there, like for women's game, and it's kind of cool that she is definitely like looking out, and she's always there. I met her at a college golf tournament as well. She was there, kind of giving talks. So I met her there as well. So I actually have met her 3 or 4 times, to be fair, and she's always there. Like if we ever have any questions for her, she'll answer them and everything like that. So it's kind of bizarre that a golfing great like that is I have met a couple of times now, right?
Yes. So in terms of the ladies' game at the minute as well, like, it seems to be growing like year by year by year. I believe on the LPGA Tour this year it's the biggest amount of prize money ever produced, I think, which is obviously a great thing for all the ladies, getting more exposure. Um, how do you see the women's game in 5 years? Like, do you see it getting to that, like, just about competing with the men? Would you say, or like, what's your opinion?
That would definitely be a dream. Because the amount of money that the men kind of plays for and the exposure they have is like what any kind of elite sports person can dream of. That's for sure. And I honestly think it is going to grow. I don't know if it will grow to that. I kind of hope that it would, but I definitely think it's going to be a lot bigger than what it is now. It's kind of the amount of talented players that are kind of coming through now. It's getting like so big, especially in the States, and it's kind of growing even in Ireland. Like I noticed it that like the places that I practiced, like when I was growing up, I was the only girl, but like one day I was out and it was just me and about four other girls out practicing and there was no one else. And I was like, when did this start happening? So I definitely think there is going to be a massive growth in the next 5 years, and we kind of hope that maybe we can get the exposure that kind of women's golf kind of deserves.
Yeah, and in terms of Irish golf at the minute as well on the ladies' side, I mean, obviously you got Lauren Walsh playing well on the ladies' European Tour. You've got Olivia Mahaffey that's played well in the past on the ladies' European Tour as well. How would you kind of assess the current state of Irish golf?
Honestly, I think it's in the best position it's ever been in. And I was kind of been waiting for it to happen, kind of a big influx. Like you obviously have Leona that's been out on tour kind of on her own for a while on LPGA, LET, and then you had Lauren Walsh kind of come in last year, and Olivia has been out there for a couple of years as well. And then you have me, Annabelle Wilson and Anna Foster all getting their full tour cards as well. And we have one or two others with kind of partial tour cards on the European Tour. And it's kind of just like a massive influx of players, and we're probably going to have a couple more in the couple of years as well. So I think it's honestly it's definitely Irish golf is booming at the minute. It's been in the best position, but I probably could have told you that a couple of years ago with I knew that the amount of talent kind of coming through, and we're all just kind of getting to the point where we're turning pro now. So it's kind of all coming through in the last kind of couple of years.
Yeah, and in terms of obviously the growth of Irish golf, like over the past few years, what would you put that down to? Like, is like in terms of like expert level coaching, or like what would you say is?
I honestly think it's like we had kind of um so many national championships and tournaments to play in when I was young. Like I remember I teed up my first national championship in Ireland when I was 10. Like I drove my dad drove me 3.5 hours away. I played in a 36 hole event, and we drove back that evening because I didn't make the cut. I was 10 and I was playing off 36 and shot like 105 and was delighted with myself. And it kind of that was the start of it. Like I spent my whole summers traveling around Ireland playing in kind of so many different championships. And then I was playing in the ladies championships when I was 13 and 14 off really good championship links golf courses off like in gales of wind, and it was teaching you how to kind of score. And I think honestly just having the amount of exposure, and I think Ireland has always been good with the kind of quality players that when trying to get picked for Irish teams 13, 14, 15, 16 years of age, it wasn't easy. It was kind of a fight, and you kind of had to play as much as you possibly could to try and get picked on the teams. And I think honestly just that kind of exposure to high level golf at such a young age was definitely a massive part in getting a big group of us girls kind of coming through at a high level, and at least amateur level anyway, and turning into elite professional level as well.
In terms of major championships as well, could we see an Irish champion? Maybe, well, obviously the most obvious one would probably be Leon Maguire, but
Mhm.
like in the next 5, 10 years, do you think we
I
could have an Irish champion?
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that there'll be an Irish major championship in the next couple of years, definitely in the next 10, you'd hope. Just with the amount of talent kind of coming through in our women's game at the minute. So you'd kind of really hope for it, but I definitely think that's going to happen. Especially major championships, maybe an open where it's on a links or, because like obviously like we had 2 years ago at the US Open, you had our Anya Donegan leading after 2 days. So I definitely think it's little glimpses are already there, and I think it's just kind of we just need to get the time behind us to get that experience in. So
And seeing Leona's success on the LPGA Tour and obviously her remarkable run at the 2021 Solheim Cup and stuff, I take it you could take inspiration from like Leona?
Yeah, absolutely. Like she kind of provided a massive like pathway of what works in the women's game for us Irish girls, like going to college in the States and then kind of turning pro and playing Q schools and stuff like that. Like she definitely was showed us the route to go, and then obviously being so successful on tour. And like it's, you can say the same about Padraig Harrington and winning majors for the men. You know, he won it, and then absolutely there's a massive influx of massive major winners out of Ireland for the men's side. So I think it's kind of that same kind of vibe to it. So like one does it and then the rest kind of follow along, and I think that's kind of what's happening at the minute as well.
So from 2023 to current day, I believe, well, according to the Rolex rankings, that you played 9 events as a pro and an amateur. I mean, you've had some good finishes there as well. I mean, 6 at the Vasteras Open on the Letas, 12th at the Caprio Ogon Trophy in Letas as well. Tie 36 at your home open at Dromelon Castle as well on the LET. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, you alluded to there that you made the cut and obviously finished tie 36 at Dromelland. I take it that was just a whirlwind of a week, like for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was definitely again one of a really great weeks that I kind of put down in my mind, and it was my first ever home open, and it was like in Dromoland. I had all my family come down. I had a few of my friends come down and watch me, and then obviously to make the cut and play well and win the low amateur as well. It was just like a massive emotional week that I absolutely like. It just kind of the amount of crowds that were out that week as well. It was really cool to kind of play in front of them, and then my first ever full European Tour event as well, and to make the cut and to do so well in it, I was absolutely over the moon. It was a kind of a solidifying point though, that I really wanted to turn pro and I wanted to do well, and I knew that I could do then at that point as well.
Yeah, and then the latter end of 2024, obviously, once you turned pro after the Rose Ladies Open, you made the weekend at both the Lasalle Open and the Lacoste Ladies Open de France, both on the LET.
Mm-hmm.
I take it you can take massive confidence from that going forward, knowing that you can compete at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of helped then kind of going into Q school as well. I was kind of like, I can already compete on the European tour. Like, I don't think I should have a problem with getting there as well. I think that was kind of a massive point that I kind of took in confidence boost that I took in going into Q school as well. But yeah, like I kind of bouncing off the confidence that I had off coming back off Curtis Cup to then kind of go into 4 pro events. I played an LET Access event into 2 LET events and another LET Access event, and make the cut on all of them, kind of putting myself there in contention a little bit. And a few of them that it was kind of just solidified in my brain, like, yeah, you're doing the right thing, you can do it. And I think it just gave me again, I was just riding the confidence wave of it all, and getting through all the Q schools as well. It was kind of a big thing to kind of bring into 2025 as well, being like, we can do it, and just have that belief, and then just kind of keep working hard and kind of just keep enjoying it all as well.
So, in your first event as a full-time LET card holder in Morocco, you were massively in contention after Friday at the Lala Merriam Cup. Obviously, to be that close to the top of the leaderboard after 2 rounds, like I take it that must have been a great feeling. Like, obviously, it wasn't the final round that you were looking for, of course, but like, obviously, to be in that contention, I take it like going forward, like you can kind of learn from that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Like kind of coming back into competition again, like I was kind of a little bit rusty, and you just kind of want to get back into the flow of competing, and having that be kind of a first European Tour event as a full LET member and card holder was kind of cool. And then kind of coming off, and I was leading the tournament for a while, and kind of having that kind of was a really cool feeling after the first event. And again, I kind of knew I was able to do it after the LET events I played in before. I knew if I was playing well, I could get up there, and kind of to do it in the first one was kind of nice. Again, it kind of just gives me that confidence boost again, being like, you are good enough for the tour, like you are able to do it. So I think obviously I just need to learn how to win as a full-time professional golfer. And again, like it's not a bad thing to be able to say, like kind of trying to do that kind of as soon as you get on tour, is kind of you're just trying to learn how to win. And I think again, it just kind of gives a confidence boost again in my mind that my game is there. And Yeah, it was a really cool way to start off a European Tour career, that's for sure.
So in times of adversity, so i.e. the 4 over 77 on the last day, like how do you try and deal with like some of the tough times that you know will definitely come eventually? Like how do you try and like cope with that like on the golf course?
Yeah, it's obviously like one of the hardest things to do, but it's kind of just again, kind of just keep hitting shots. Like that's all you can do, and keep remembering that like you are good enough. If you're going like, it's always going to happen in golf. You're always going to hit that rough patch. It's always just kind of accepting it and kind of getting through it. Like golf is a tough game. It's a hard come into hard shots, and sometimes they just don't work out for you as well. And you just kind of have to accept that and kind of learn from it and kind of learn how you feel in these situations. Because like I haven't been a pro long enough to be able to say I've been in contention in professional events a lot. So it's kind of just learning how you feel and kind of take that forward. So again, I wasn't being too hard on myself. I was just like, look, you're a rookie, your first ever event as a professional rookie. So I think it was kind of just learning from the whole experience, and like it's gonna happen. I'm hoping like I want to be in contention as much as possible, and the more you're in contention, the more you're gonna win, and the more you're gonna lose. So you kind of just need to remember that as well, and kind of just take everything you can from the weeks.
And so in Rabat, did you get to see majority of the city like when you were there? I think that event in general was a little bit of a weird one because there was a massive outbreak of food poisoning, wasn't it? And
Yeah, there was a bit of a virus going around. My poor dad had a bit of it on the last day as well, so he wasn't able to come out and watch. But honestly, nah, you don't really get to see too much. Maybe one day, usually out of a tournament week, you get to see it. So I went down to the marina in Rabat and had dinner there, and you honestly don't get to see too much of it because you spend all your whole day kind of at the golf course or and then back at the hotel to rest and recharge. But usually you kind of get a day or an evening of a tournament week where you can kind of maybe do a little bit of sightseeing and do something different. But yeah.
and like obviously the full focus is golf, but do you kind of wish like at times you could see more of the places that you're traveling to? Like obviously you're traveling to there for work purposely, but at the same time, I feel like you've got to have that little bit of a balance, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of just depends where you are in the world as well. Like I had been to Morocco for Q school, and it honestly was not my most favorite place in the world. So I kind of didn't have too much of a motivation to kind of get out and see more of the country because it definitely is not my most favorite place. So it's better like
It's not quite Miami.
no, it's not. But if I'm in Miami, I'll be going to the beach for a day or enjoying it a little bit more than I would do in Morocco. So it honestly just depends. But yeah, no, definitely having a bit of a balance on those weeks is vital. But I am very good at just sitting down and being able to watch a movie or watch Netflix and kind of tournament weeks as well to wind down or go for dinner with friends or do something kind of different in that sense. So
You spoke about Netflix there. Try to Survive by any chance?
massive Drive to Survive fan, that's for sure. So definitely looking forward to the new season kind of coming out soon and everything with that. So that's definitely a pastime and a hobby for myself is Formula One. So
Yeah, obviously that was the kind of the cue to go into F1 as such because I knew that you were a massive fan of that.
mhm.
So have you got a favorite? Well, if you had to say a favorite driver, favorite team, who are you going for?
Um, Ferrari, Charles Leclerc probably would be my favorite. I'm a big Ferrari fan. Even though I do like Max Verstappen as well, just because I do enjoy people who win all the time and the best team there is. So, but no, I am a big Ferrari fan. So hopefully, they can sort themselves out a little bit this year and maybe win a constructors championship or whatever. So that would be nice.
And obviously Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari this year.
Exciting times.
Yeah, do you think that possibly he might have a chance of getting his eighth title, do you think? Or do you think
Um,
that's a tough task?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a tough task, but it would be kind of cool to be kind of witnessing literally the greatest moment in the motorsport, pretty much kind of after he'd be winning the eighth title and probably the first person to do it. So it would be kind of cool to witness that, that's for sure. And especially in a Ferrari, I kind of feel like it'd be a bit nostalgic, all right, for the sport. So but I definitely hope that it would be kind of cool to witness, that's for sure. I don't know if it's a bit too much of a tough ask though, but who knows? We'll see what the year brings.
And do you get to like obviously I know obviously that when you're playing golf you probably won't get to watch much of it, but like when you do get a chance to watch F1, I take it you're massively engrossed in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if I don't get to watch all the races, obviously I kind of see highlights of it and I kind of keep up with the points boards and stuff like that. So that's for sure. But obviously they like to put it in places where the time zones are weird. So I definitely don't be staying up half the night and watching it on tournament weeks. That's for sure. But my dream is to be able to get to a race someday. I've never been to it in person, so that's I'm gonna see if I can try in the next year or two. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect, obviously, from an F1 race, like being there live. But how do you think the being there in person would be? Do you think it would be like good atmosphere and stuff?
I definitely think it'd be a really cool atmosphere. It'd be really cool to kind of hear the cars kind of going around and kind of be around just the atmosphere of it all. I think obviously in person, like any sport, kind of in person is can be better just for the atmosphere of it all. So definitely would love to see it in person eventually.
Do you think that first time going to the F1 would be in the States, probably? Like one of the States that you would?
I don't know, but I'd take any of them. I'd go to any of them if I can. Honestly, I think my dream would go to Monaco, obviously, and that would be a dream. But maybe stateside, I would love to go to. I was never in Miami when the Miami one was on because we were always away competing. But it would be really cool to see the Las Vegas one as well, a night race. So who knows?
So we know that you're kind of concentrating more on the Epson Tour side of things to finish in the top 10, top 15 that gets cast
Yes,
to the LPGA.
top 10 gets full LPGA, and then 11 to 15 gets partial status, but it's very high status still. So basically, the top 15 you get LPGA status.
Yeah. So obviously that's the main goal, to focus on the Epson Tour to get to the LPGA. But when it comes back to the summer and the KPMG Irish Open, I take it that's the one event of the year that you always look forward to, obviously, being back home. And
Yeah, I nothing kind of hits the same as a home open, and it's going to be a very special week. It's something that I'll probably always love to play in for the rest of my life, just because it's just so special. Look, I don't know what it is with Irish people in sporting events, but we just love them. Everyone shows up to them. We have massive crowds every year at the Irish Open, and it's run really well. It was voted best European Tour event last year, which it finally kind of is getting the recognition it deserves, just because it's such a great event, and having the home crowds and being able to play in front of all my friends and family, that's something really special for me because I don't get to do it too often. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. It's always going to be a highlight of a year, really.
I've been a bit lazy recently when it comes to looking at schedule, but is it at Carton House again, or is it?
It is in Carton House again this year. So yeah, let's looking forward to getting up to Dublin and playing in that in the first weekend in July.
So what would you say, like obviously the first event of the Epson Tour season, I take it top 10, top 20, like obviously to start the season well is a good way to start?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of just feel like maybe for the first one's kind of getting my bearings. I've never played on the Epson before and kind of just see how that all works. But definitely, again, I kind of go into every event trying to win it and see kind of what happens after that. That's for sure. But I'd certainly be so happy with the top 10 and top 20 and all that, and especially at the start to start off quite well. So, but I'm not putting that kind of expectation on me. I kind of try don't do that. Kind of, especially for the first ones, we'll put a place on it, but kind of just go in there and play my golf and see what happens and see kind of where I'm basing myself and benchmarking off the other girls on the Epson as well. So
Yeah, and when it comes to like obviously out with the Florida ones, like is there any other events on the Epson Tour that like one of the states that you're looking forward to going to the most?
yeah, so they actually, the second stint of events, they go to a place in California and then to Las Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to the second stint and the end of April, beginning of May. So that's definitely places that I'm looking forward to getting to as well.
So Sarah, thank you so much for coming on. Probably gone on a little bit longer than what we thought we would, but it's been great to have you on, and obviously good luck ahead to hopefully gaining your dream of becoming an LPGA Tour member.
Thank you very much. It was fun. So thanks for having me on.